Either you become left field bleacher guy or a serial killer. Dallas is actually a sports town kind of like no other.
Yeah.
Of course, other major metropolitan areas, New York, LA, whatever, have a tendency, but we have a team in every major league.
We got all four of the big ones.
All four of the big ones and the fifth.
Right.
And aside from the Rangers, who it's been about a decade, pretty highly competitive. Mavs made a pretty good run last year. We're actually a more competitive sports city than New York City right now. The Stars, man, was that heartbreaking last year. But they made it to the Cup Finals. Yep. Mavs made a pretty decent run.
The Knicks are just a dumpster fire. So.
Yeah, I don't think the Knicks are ever going to get it.
No.
But we have even more than just the major leagues. What are your most fun sports things to do in Dallas?
So I'll always do the Rangers game, right? Like I'm going to default to baseball from an in-person event. I just think baseball is like the best thing to do.
It's because you and I are conversationalists.
Yeah.
If you want to sit and just hang out and talk to people for 4 hours, a baseball game is just the perfect place to do it.
There's so many fun bits you can do too if you want to make it more entertaining. So you have to pay a little bit more. Like if you want to just go full on nerd, you can actually score the game.
You could score the game with the sheet. Yeah, 100%.
Or you could just do the bit where it's like there's you don't have to make this a drinking game, but there's an old drinking game that where like when the ball would get tossed back at the end of the inning, either by the umpire.
We don't like to encourage drinking on our video,
right? But whenever the ball, so like everybody would put like $1 into like a cup at the end of every half inning, and if the ball like stopped on the actual mound, however many dollars were in the cup, the person got it. Whoever's turn.
So the changeover, if the catcher tossed it back to the mound, if it stopped on the mound, then the bet would go off. That's
so there's fun ways to make it more engaging. To at least pay attention.
My dad and I and my brother have been doing this for years. I bring ones to every sports game. I make dollar bets
on just little things,
on everything.
Yep.
It's so much fun.
It's fun. I just think baseball translates in person the best. There might be a little bit of nostalgia too, just because my age reminds me of spring and summer. I think that's where baseball really gets us. Baseball just has the advantage of being played in the time of year where everybody's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
We're here now. It's nice outside again.
I will tell you, I've been to Lambeau Field in November. Football in the cold doesn't hit the same way. It's kind of a beating to be there. So baseball really is my favorite sport to watch in person, you know?
So I'll always go. I have not been. It's funny enough that you say that. I just bought my first tickets to the new stadium because last year we couldn't go. So I was sitting there looking at tickets and I was like, oh, I can't sit on the third base side. It's because it's crazy hot. And I was like, wait a minute. I don't know what direction this faces. Is the roof going to be closed? I have no idea. So I'm going to the stadium for the first time. They're playing the Orioles, but whatever.
What's the bit with the one guy that used to always sit in the left field bleachers? There's August.
Yeah.
You'd look across from the first base side and you'd see one dude sitting in the upper deck of the left field baking.
I don't know why you would sit up there.
I think he's doing a bit. He knows everyone can see him. And he knows that they're going to see a real sunburnt guy in the parking lot later. And they'll be like, that's the dude.
Camera will go to him one time during a game. Remember when do you remember Jim Knox?
Yeah, I know. Remember
Dude, Knoxy would just do the most ridiculous bits.
I think if you want massive attentions like that, your life goes one of two ways. Either you become left field bleacher guy or a serial killer. Or both desire the same type of notoriety. That just one is a healthier avenue to get it.
Could you not just get super rich and become like the Marlins guy who just started like spending like ungodly amount of money just to wear hideous Marlins gear
and get the
in the camera shot of everything?
That bit that the Marlins dude in center field, that god awful dolphin thing that goes off when they hit, it's tragic. I hate the Marlins stadium. I
hate everything about it.
Their whole organization. I will say this though, I don't think the Rangers are the best baseball ticket in town.
I actually agree with that. From a pure entertainment standpoint,
I love the Rough Riders, bro.
Their stadium's awesome.
The stadium's awesome, and not just because it's right by our houses. It's just, dude, I mean, it's more intimate.
Yeah.
The level of competition is still very, very high. It's AA ball. You can go to Founders Plaza. See, here's the thing. Exclusivity is part of my bougie experience that I want. I want to either sit close or I want some special access to something that other people don't have. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel like I've accomplished something in my life. I can have that on a lower level now. I'm not going to sit in the suite every game for a Rangers game, but I'll be damned if I'm not sitting up in that JCPenney suite for a Rough Riders game. I think it's only like $50 a ticket. It's all you can eat, all you can drink, and you can sit down. You have a seat down low, but you also get access to upstairs. So like first 3 innings, I'll go upstairs and eat, hang out, then I'll come down and watch the game.
Yep.
You get a waiter that comes to your table. His name's usually Jeff. And you're like, Jeff, get me a bratwurst. He goes and gets it. It's very cool. Brings you beers. You don't. I feel like that would cost a fortune at a Rangers game.
Oh, I mean, I think beers in the. I don't know at the new stadium, but they were $7.50 at the old place.
Yeah, you'd be spending $1,000 to get to eat and drink as much as we do at baseball games. The Rough Riders are the way to go.
I do think I heard Brian refer to that special at the Rough Riders one time as borderline irresponsible.
It really is. Because think about the dude who's bringing you the beers. He's some 17-year-old that's working at the stadium. He's not monitoring what you're doing.
Care.
He doesn't care at all. No. You could get unlimited. They're not even IDing you. I could be giving it to children for all they know. I'm not. But I'm just saying I could. So, yeah, it is borderline irresponsible. It's a lot of fun, though.
There's a ton of, like I think one of the really great things that we have here, too, is relatively new facilities for all of our team. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, American Airlines Center is the oldest thing we have in town.
It really is, man. And I love the American Airlines Center. It really is the oldest stadium, kind of by a lot.
And it's still an awesome place.
Are the Grand Prairie Air Hogs still a team? They were quite fun to watch.
Here is one of the amazing things about the Air Hogs. I knew nothing about them except for Pete Incaviglia was their coach for a while.
Yeah, I know Pete.
And Pete Incaviglia was just this bowling ball shaped guy who used to play outfield for the Rangers in the 80s.
Yep.
Back when I was in love with him, and Steve Buechele was like the third baseman, and like my dad used to take me to games. So like one day I just saw Pete Incaviglia was the coach of the Fort Worth Grand Prairie Air Hogs, and I was like, what is this? And apparently it was like some Pine League that
is single A. It's either rookie ball or single A ball.
I don't even think they were affiliated at all because the bats they used were there was something about the bats they used that was made the league different or something.
Like a Wild West situation.
Yeah, it wasn't like aluminum bats or anything because they'd kill somebody.
The connection I have is I believe for one season my brother years ago used to announce the batter as they walked up.
Nice.
Like now batting number 3, this dude. So I was pretty pumped about that.
So that's how the Air Hogs got on your radar.
Exactly. I didn't know they were a team before that.
Was that the old Texas League?
It might have been the old Texas League. Yeah. I have baseball's such a weird sport. I don't know how the league system works at all.
Well, for majors, you have like low A or high A.
I know how that high
double A, triple A. But yeah, all those other things. I don't
know.
I don't think they're real like feeder leagues for major leagues. I think it's just other places for guys to make some money.
Yeah, there's a lot of East Coast ball I don't really know about. Yeah. Northeast leagues that I think are kind of like loosely affiliated feeder leagues, but not fully incorporated. Like there's a lot of stuff like that in baseball. Hockey's pretty simple. So Dallas Stars are, I think, the best ticket in town right now. If you've never seen a hockey game live,
they're fun to go to,
bro. Football is very hard to watch live because there's so much going on. If you can sit close at a hockey game, man, is it so much fun. We used to have a minor league team. We have several minor league teams here still. Allen Americans of the CHL are very fun to watch.
Really?
If you enjoy old school hockey with lots of fights.
Sticks and pucks, yeah?
Yeah. My brother used to play in the CHL for a long time, so I just know a lot of the dudes. I know how the deal goes, and there's just a lot of fighting. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's cheaper. It's more affordable. You get to sit closer. It's really awesome. I know a lot about the hockey hierarchy. NHL, AHL, ECHL, CHL, SBHL. It's very structured. Baseball is different. But if you can get to a Stars game, early season's usually a little bit less expensive too. That's one of the things about hockey, and I think football as well. You start getting deeper into the season, you're making a playoff run. Those ticket prices start to creep up on you a little bit. If you can get an early game, get like a Stars Red Wings rivalry game going early on in the season, it's a lot of fun, dude.
Well, in football, there's just such a limited amount of tickets. Like the 8 games at the Death Star every year are going to be
it's an assumed sellout.
Yeah, every single time. And that's another place where like I don't really enjoy going to games there. It's not because it's not an experience. It's amazing. It's just I can't afford to sit as close as I need to sit for it to matter. And the second you walk into that thing and you can't stop focusing on the television, you might as well have just watched it at home.
My football bit is exactly what you're talking about. My perfect day of football is going to the stadium 5 hours early to tailgate and then watching the game at the bar across the street from the stadium.
Yep.
Like what's that? It's not Boomer Jacks.
Joe's Crab Shack used to be over there by the ballpark. That's where I used to go for the game at.
Yeah, there's another big one over there now. I think it's like I don't know if it's a Champs or something like that. But there's a big game watching place. I'd rather do that than be inside the stadium. I'm getting drinks at the stadium anyway. These cost less, and I don't have to pay $500 for a ticket.
It's the reason the NFL this has been my contention for years. The NFL is huge for a ton of reasons, but the reason they're able to package the product the way they are is because it translates perfectly to television.
Oh, sure.
The information of it translates perfectly to television. The TV companies have gotten all of this figured out to make it the most enjoyable experience. It's just not fun to watch a football game in person. It's so hard to tell what's going on.
So not fun. But
play action plays will take your eyes completely away from everything that's going on.
Dude, let me tell you a Cowboys story, because I'm not a Cowboys fan, I'm a Giants fan. My family's from New York. JPP blocks a field goal 10 years ago.
It's 10 years and 10 fingers ago?
Yeah, 10 years, exactly. It's a Week 17 game, so it was huge. It was to get in the playoffs. It pretty much dashed the Cowboys' playoff hopes and got the Giants in. I was sitting in the last seat. My back was up against the metal. I looked like I was watching through a telescope. It took me 3 minutes to figure out what just happened.
Yeah.
Like, our entire section was Giants fans who came down from New York. The rest of them probably in just this, with the travel and everything, it was the best seat they could afford. We were all just sitting there in shock forever as the Cowboys kind of sauntered off the field. They were like, did he just block that? So confused. People started texting me, oh my God, no, we blocked it, bro.
You had to wait. There's a delayed response to cheering until people get text messages from their friends watching.
If I was at home, I would have known instantly what happened in real time.
We have good, like, locally we just have good prospects and everything right now too. Yes. Like, even the Mavericks, they got Luka right now, so he's fun to watch at the very least. Even if the team, I think right at time of recording, I think they're like in the 8th seed and whatever. I was
so lucky and blessed to have our awesome vendor partners. I got tickets in 2019. Obviously didn't go into 2020, but we got like 5th row. I don't know, was it half court, center court, or whatever? I've been to basketball games before. This was an experience like no other. And it was when the Mavs just torched the Warriors by like 25, and Luka went off for like 60-something. So I got really lucky that it was that game. Watching basketball up close is one of the funnest experiences you're going to get in the sports world. It's super, super cool. So if you can get to a Mavs game, we got the Texas Legends that play in Frisco as well. That's the G League.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird how Gatorade could just...
It's called
it used to. This is what I was going to ask. So it used to be the D League.
Yeah.
It stands for Development League.
Of course.
How big does your company have to be that you just change it to the Gatorade League?
Everybody's looking for a sponsor now, though, too. Yeah. Like, all these stadiums have all these silly names, like, Globe Life Field. Right?
It's fun. Like, aren't there a lot of stadium names that you don't know what they do? Like, I don't know what Comerica does, but there's Comerica Arena where the Texas Legends play, and I'm like, I don't know what your company does. I'm sure it's relevant in my life somehow.
Does Comerica Park still where the Tigers play?
That used to be
Detroit.
That's Comerica Park too. So so the Comerica's all in the stadium game. They got the Detroit Tigers and the very local Texas Legends. There are two big things they're banking on. That's American Airlines Arena and American Airlines Center.
Yeah, that's the Miami and Dallas. Yeah. That's the one I was trying to think of. I was like, who has the other one?
Yeah. And stadium sponsors is such a weird economy. I don't know why it works.
I can just tell you right now, never once have I been, but I do think there are fans who do this. And I think specifically Cowboys fans do this, because what you'll notice if you move here from somewhere else, everybody is the official. Like, if you're the official sponsor of the Cowboys, that is like your number one branding tool.
Century 21.
Yeah, Judge Fight. Right?
Like, official movers of the Cowboys.
Right? Like,
I know so many people that have moved Cowboys, possibly even the other person on the end of this conversation, and they do not work for Century 21.
They mostly do not, right? But it's everything. It's Tostitos. It's like we were watching them change the sign the other day for some sponsor at the. They got one of those stupid stretchy deals with the baskets on the top. Yes. Guys used to change light bulbs up high, or boom things or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. So
it's called cherry picker.
Yeah, cherry picker. Yeah. There we go. So they were up on one of those bad boys, just like taking the Tostitos off and sliding somebody else's name in there.
Yeah, it's so true, dude. I think, getting back to it though, the basketball super fun. Of course, with the Dallas Wings as well. I'm a level with you, because I don't want to get put out there like I'm experiencing all this stuff. I've never been to a Dallas Wings game, but it sounds lit. So they're actually really competitive last year, I think, too. That's our WNBA team.
Yeah.
I think the minor league sports around here are so much more fun than everything else.
They're just a little bit more affordable. I mean, I think the Rangers tickets you can get relatively cheap right now, because they're just honestly they're not great. But if you do the normal, family of 4 type of thing, or a group of 4 people trying to go to a game, I mean, you go to a Cowboys game, you spend easily over $1,000, right? Like, just in beer and seats.
Parking is going to be a couple hundred. It seems like.
And then like Mavs game I haven't been to in a while, but you get 4 people in there, you're gonna spend some money. You can go to a Rangers game and kind of sit kind of far away, especially if you go on Wednesdays when they have Dollar Dog Night.
Dollar Dog Night, bro.
Wednesdays are the best. Wednesdays Dollar Dog Night and Thursday afternoon games are where it's at.
Here's how the economy of baseball stadiums work, because I'm the perfect victim. Do you know what happens on Dollar Dog Night? I start to wait in line. Then the line is so long that I just go buy a boomstick for $14 anyway. So they get you excited about free hot dogs, but 80% of people who don't want to waste their damn time waiting in line for an hour are just going to go spend the money because they're craving hot dogs now, because you gave them the promise of hot dogs, but you asterisked that with an hour-long wait. So now I'm like, I'll just go buy my own hot dog.
You could literally like bludgeon somebody with one of those dogs from the boomstick, though. That is the heaviest, most dense piece of meat.
I get a third of the way through.
It's like you're trying to cut through that thing with a plastic fork and they're snapping in half.
I will tell you, noises like a saw.
If there's one thing not to get at the Rangers, because Brian short-ended it, it ain't $14. It's probably $34.
It's way more than that.
It was $27 when it came out in like 2011 because I bought it.
Probably over $30.
There's a picture of me all baby-faced with no beard, just like a giant boomstick next to me.
But here's the thing. That's a baseball bit, so I can appreciate it. I will tell you, at Yankee Stadium, you can get sushi now, and for some reason that rubs you the wrong way. I do like sushi, and I love New York City. Not sure I love the pairing of the two in baseball. Seems super weird. Honestly, if I see you eating sushi at a baseball game, I might low-key spit on you.
Wouldn't it? It just seems like the facilities are incorrect for that.
No, it's just not the right. You're sitting in the sun.
Yes.
Eating like raw fish. What kind of psychopath? The same dude who's sitting in the bleachers in left field, who's also probably a serial killer, is eating sushi all game.
I never hawk on anybody, but and I've never done this to a stranger, but I do think it's a funny bit to do like barbecues with a bunch of people, where somebody's just standing there with a plate with still with chips on it. They're like done eating their food, so you don't really make a huge mess. You just walk up, smack the S out of their hand, plate and chips go flying, and you just keep moving. Right? Don't even turn around for the reaction.
Just the optics of it.
It's the
so
best
funny.
bit. It's so hilarious. That's what I do to sushi people in New York.
Just whack your baseball stadium
rice
sushi.
Flying in the air.
Well, if you guys ever see us getting arrested in Manhattan, it's because we knocked some sushi out of somebody's hand at Yankee Stadium.
Almost assuredly.
And honestly, it's worth the bail money. End of video.